October 24th, 1944, 22,000 feet over the Pacific. One American fighter, Hellcat. Ahead 60 Japanese planes, sliding toward the U.S. fleet like a dark river. David McCampbell doesn't wait. He climbs a little higher, flips the plane upside down, and dives straight down at the top of the pack. First burst one, Japanese Zero turns into a cloud of pieces. He doesn't even watch it fall. He yanks back up, snaps the nose around, and dives again. Rushing drops in behind him, knocks a bomber, Yokosuka, out of the stream, and zooms back up to cover. The enemy tries to turn this into a swirling dogfight. McCampbell refuses. He won't spin in circles with them. He fights like an elevator. Down, fire up, down, fire up. Every pass is quick and mean. He aims a little ahead of each target where it will be, not where it is, and cuts another one down. The big wave breaks into clumps. Some dive for cloud. Some wander wide looking for him. That's the point. Make them think about him, not the ships. A lone Japanese fighter tries to climb right in front of him. Bad choice. McCampbell rides power straight up, pinches off a burst as they cross, and rips it from nose to tail. Another comes head on. They flash past. McCampbell flips the plane in a tight climbing turn and drops into the blind spot behind it. Short burst. Gone. Splash 3. Rushing calls. The count is getting ridiculous. McCampbell keeps his speed. He never lets the nose sit in a flat turn. He dives, fires for a heartbeat, and rockets back into the blue, where the lighter enemy planes can't follow. He sees two trying to trap him. He tricks them uphill, then unloads, gains speed, slices between them, tags the slower one on the way through. Flame. The leader panics, slides into a lazy turn, and McCampbell leads him like a bird over a field. Another quick burst, another one falling. The sky thins. He knifes down on a bomber trying to slink home, a quick rake across the cockpit done. Last target, a fighter easing down sun, thinking it's safe. McCampbell lines it up calmly, squeezes, and it comes apart in the air. He levels out low on fuel, almost out of bullets, and heads for the carriers. Two Americans went up against a crowd and turned a tidal wave into spray because one of them refused to fight on the enemy's terms and made the sky his own staircase. Dive, strike, climb, repeat. The fight isn't over. Below him, broken trails of smoke mark the ocean like black ribbons. McCampbell circles once, scanning for stragglers. The radio crackles, Rushing's voice tight and clipped. More coming in, north side. Big group. He looks up. Another swarm, 20, maybe 30 planes dropping out of the sun. Fresh fighters, still tight, still confident. They haven't seen what happened to the first wave. McCampbell checks his ammo, half gone. Doesn't matter. He climbs again, higher than they expect. The enemy formation stretches out like a spearhead. He waits until they start to tilt into their dive, until the whole mass is committed, and then drops through them like a falling blade. His guns chatter once two planes tumble, wings spinning away. He doesn't stick around to count. He dives straight through their middle, climbs on the far side, rolls, and dives again from above. The Japanese pilots scatter. Their planes turn sharper, but slower. They bleed speed fast. McCampbell keeps every ounce of momentum, flying wide arcs instead of tight circles. His Hellcat howls through the sky, heavy but unstoppable, the extra weight turning every dive into a hammer blow. Rushing calls, "They're all over you." "Good," McCampbell says, calm as if talking across a table. "Keep 'em chasing." He pulls vertical, straight up until the air shudders and the stall warning screams. He kicks the rudder, flips over the top, and drops behind two fighters that followed too far. They never see him. One burst, then another. Both vanish into the sea. The sky is chaos now, no formation, just pieces of a fight that used to be organized. McCampbell moves through it like a ghost. Every time he fires, someone goes down. Every time they chase him, he climbs out of reach. The Zeros twist tighter and tighter, trying to force him to turn with them, but he refuses. He fights the fight they can't win, the vertical one. He hears Rushing shout, "You've got one coming head on." I see him. They meet nose to nose, closing at 600 miles an hour. The Japanese pilot holds course. So does McCampbell. 2 streams of tracer fire cross. The enemy's shots pass wide. McCampbell's don't. The Zero's engine bursts like a flare. They pass close enough for McCampbell to see the pilot's white scarf flash once, then vanish in fire. He banks sharply, smoke cutting past his canopy. 5 more still up, trying to climb after him. He hauls the Hellcat higher again, out of their reach, then picks them off one by one as they stall below. By the time he levels off, the sky is empty. No bombers, no escorts, nothing but drifting trails of smoke and sunlight, bouncing off the ocean far below. Rushing's voice again, "We've got nothing left up here. Then we go home." They turn south toward the carriers. McCampbell glances at his fuel gauge, dangerously low. The deck looks like a postage stamp in the endless sea. He lands with fumes left in the tank. Rushing lands right behind him. Ground crews count the bullet holes, the empty ammo boxes, and the kills. 9 confirmed for McCampbell, 6 for Rushing. 15 enemy planes destroyed. 2 men came back alive. And somewhere between the clouds and the water, 60 fighters learned that speed and numbers mean nothing when one man owns the sky. When McCampbell's wheels hit the deck, the whole flight line stops. No one believes what they're hearing. 2 fighters against 60, and the sky now empty. His Hellcat's wings are chewed at the edges, the gun barrels scorched black. The ordnance crew counts bullet holes, 27, none fatal. He climbs down slowly, face gray with exhaustion, hands still steady. The deck officer walks up, incredulous. "How many?" "9, McCampbell says. "You mean your group?" "No," he answers flatly. "Just me." The words hang there. Nobody cheers. They just look at him, like a man who came back from a place no one survives. Then someone starts clapping. Within seconds, the whole deck joins in. But McCampbell doesn't linger. He's already talking to his men, marking on a chart where he first saw the formation, describing altitudes, headings, how the enemy split, how the first dive broke their rhythm. He's not bragging, he's analyzing. He knows they'll come again, and next time there might not be fuel, sun, or luck in his favor. Down below in the ready room, he briefs what he's learned. They're changing. Less reckless than the old days, more disciplined. You hit the formation before they fan out. Take the leaders first, always from above. Don't get drawn into turns. Keep your speed. Keep the vertical. Someone asks what happens when you're outnumbered 10-1. Then make them chase you uphill, he says. The faster plane chooses the fight. The slower one dies tired. He sketches arcs on the board, dives, zoom climbs, reverses. Simple patterns, born from instinct, now turned into doctrine. The younger pilots watch like it's gospel. They've heard of him, his record in the Marianas, his calm voice over the radio, but this is different. He's not just their ace, he's proof that even alone, they can win. By evening, the carrier's radio room starts catching fragments of Japanese transmissions from Luzon. Words like, "one American," "many lost," and "unfathomable." The Japanese command can't believe it either. Their pilots report a single blue-gray fighter climbing through their formations like a shark through a school of fish. That night, McCampbell eats in silence. His plate goes cold while he writes notes in his log. He lists what worked, what nearly didn't. The opening dive, perfect. Ammunition control, better than expected. Fuel margin, dangerously low. He underlines that twice. He also writes a single sentence at the bottom. Aggression, not defense, saves the fleet. The next morning, when Task Force 38 launches its strikes on the retreating Japanese fleet off Cape Engano, McCampbell is supposed to stand down. He's already flown more than any man aboard. But when the klaxon sounds, he's on the deck again, helmet in hand, ready to go. The flight officer tries to stop him. "You've done enough for one war, sir." McCampbell just nods toward the horizon. "Tell that to them." He launches again, this time leading a full strike group of 40 planes. Below, the ocean glitters with the wrecks of Japan's last carriers. He knows what's waiting up there. Whatever's left of the enemy's best. And if they come, he'll meet them the same way he always does, alone in the sun, diving like gravity's weapon, fighting not for glory, not for the record books, but for the men on those decks who can't fight back. He's already proven that one man can turn the tide. Tomorrow, he'll show them it wasn't luck. October 25th, 1944. Dawn breaks gray over the Sibuyan Sea. The Japanese fleet is retreating west, its air wings shattered but not finished. Their last reserves of aircraft, Zeros, Tonys, Judys, are being hurled from every remaining strip in Luzon and Formosa, desperate to strike back at Task Force 38. David McCampbell hasn't slept. His body runs on coffee, adrenaline, and habit. He walks the Essex flight deck slowly, boots clanging on the steel. The ocean smells of fuel and salt. He knows this day will be different. Yesterday, it was 60 against 2. Today, it will be hundreds against a fleet. At 0800 hours, the carrier loudspeakers crackle. Enemy aircraft inbound. Estimated 150. McCampbell doesn't even wait for his call sign. He grabs his helmet, climbs into Mincy 3, and motions for his wingman. Another Hellcat roars to life beside him. They take off into a sky already striped with contrails. The air is thick with sun glare and engine smoke. On radar, the enemy comes in 3 waves. McCampbell climbs above the first, scanning. At 25,000 feet, the light catches something below, tiny specks moving fast and level. Fighters, dozens of them, racing ahead of their bombers. He doesn't hesitate. "I'll take the top," he says into the mic. His wingman acknowledges with a single word, "Copy." McCampbell rolls the Hellcat inverted and dives. The enemy formation swells in his windscreen. Neat, disciplined, confident. He fires at the lead pair, holds the trigger just long enough for the tracers to stitch the first Zero's cockpit. The second bursts into smoke. Before the rest even react, he's climbing back into the sun, already setting up for another strike. He's using what he calls vertical dominance. He owns the high ground of the sky. The Japanese fighters can climb fast, but not high, not with bomb loads, not with older engines choking on thin air. Every time they pull up to chase, they stall out, hanging helplessly before dropping away. McCampbell waits for that moment, the heartbeat, when the enemy has no lift left, and then dives through them again. Each pass is clinical, short bursts, controlled fire, always moving. The Hellcat is heavy, but its 6 machine guns spit a wall of fire that no lightly built Zero can survive. The first wave collapses in under 5 minutes. Black smoke trails mark where discipline ends and panic begins. He sees one Zero break free, dive for the bombers below. McCampbell drops behind, riding its slipstream, squeezing the trigger until the rounds walk through its fuselage. The plane folds in half midair. He climbs again, searching. The second wave comes in higher, smarter. They've seen what happens when they bunch together. Now they come scattered, hoping to draw him into flat turns. He knows that trick. He refuses every invitation. Instead, he dives through one group, fires, and climbs through another before they can react. The air fills with streaks of tracers, curved lines of combat drawn in 3 dimensions. His radio buzzes Rushing's voice. "We're low on fuel." McCampbell checks his gauge. Barely a quarter tank. He's already fired nearly all his ammunition. But below them, the bombers are turning away. The fleet is safe. That's all that matters. Then something moves in the corner of his eye, a shape climbing through cloud. Slower but larger. A Judy dive bomber, last one left, running for the fleet's direction. If it gets through, someone dies. McCampbell knows what that means. He shoves the throttle forward. The Hellcat shudders as the prop bites air. He angles down at full speed, closing fast. At 400 yards, he fires nothing. Empty. The guns are dry. He doesn't break off. He keeps diving, lines up behind the bomber, and flies straight into its wake. The Japanese pilot panics, dives too steeply, loses control. McCampbell stays right on its tail until the Judy's wings shear off and it tumbles into the sea. When he pulls out, his own aircraft is shaking, oil pressure low, fuel nearly gone. He turns for home, coasting on fumes. Rushing flies in tight beside him, his canopy glass cracked, one wing riddled with holes. They land together. Both engines die the moment the wheels touch the deck. The ground crew rushes forward, shouting, cheering, dragging chocks under the wheels. McCampbell opens the canopy, face streaked with sweat and oil. He doesn't smile. He just says, "All gone." Later, in the ready room, he sits surrounded by young pilots. They want to hear about it, the fight, the odds, how one man tore through 60 planes one day and crippled another strike the next. McCampbell doesn't glorify it. Altitude, speed, patience, he says. Don't let them decide the fight. You pick when and where. If you can make them react, you've already won. He pauses, looks at the men. They had numbers. We had control. That's the only thing that matters in the air control. Word spreads fast through the task force. McCampbell downed 9 planes yesterday. 6 more today. 15 in 2 sorties. No one in naval history has done anything like it. But he doesn't care about records. He only cares that not one Japanese bomber reached the fleet. That night, the Essex rolls gently in calm seas. Below deck, men sleep for the first time in 2 days. Above them, McCampbell stands alone by the island rail, looking out at the dark Pacific. The sky that tried to kill him twice now lies quiet, full of stars. He knows tomorrow the enemy will send more. He also knows the lesson is clear for every pilot on that deck, for every fighter in the fleet. One man with discipline, altitude, and the will to climb higher than fear can turn the tide of an air war. And if that sky ever fills again, someone out there will remember the way Mincy III fought fast, patient, vertical, and they'll know how to win it. 2 days later, Task Force 38 steams east through the aftermath of the largest naval battle in history. The Japanese fleet is broken. Most of its carriers burned somewhere west of Luzon, their air groups erased. But not all the danger is gone. Scouts still report scattered bands of enemy planes trying to slip south toward Leyte Gulf, desperate to strike the landing beaches or the thin picket line of American destroyers guarding them. By now, McCampbell has become a myth on every deck of every carrier in the task force. The man who fought 60 and came home. Mechanics paint his Hellcats cowling with 9 small rising suns, the mark for confirmed kills. Others say it should be 15. He ignores it. He's in the briefing room, talking tactics with pilots half his age. Forget the numbers, he tells them. What matters is timing. You win by choosing the instant. Dive when they look up. Climb when they turn. Never give them your tail. The first one who hesitates dies. That afternoon, radar picks up more contacts. 20 Japanese aircraft headed straight for the supply convoy north of the fleet. Essex launches every fighter it has ready. McCampbell is not supposed to go. His orders are to rest and write his combat report. But as the engines roar on deck, he walks to the line, helmet in hand. The flight officer shakes his head. "Sir, you're grounded for fuel calculations." McCampbell just grins faintly. "Then count the gallons after I get back." He takes off last, climbing fast to join the others. The sky ahead flashes with sunlight on spinning propellers. The new enemy flight is a mix. Zeros, Tonys, and a handful of Franks, Japan's newest and fastest. They're better armed than before. McCampbell can feel it. This is the last hard push. The Americans spread out, 20 Hellcats against 20 attackers. Equal numbers, but not equal training. McCampbell leads his division in high cover, keeping the altitude advantage. Below, the fight erupts into a chaos of tracers and vapor trails. He sees a Hellcat break left with 2 zeros on its tail. McCampbell dives, squeezes the trigger for half a second. 1 zero bursts into flame. The second jerks away, smoke trailing from its wing. The Hellcat below escapes. "Thanks, Commander," a voice calls on the radio. "Don't thank me," McCampbell replies. "Climb and do the same for someone else." Moments later, 4 Franks rise toward him in formation, fast and tight. New engines, better climb. These aren't rookies, they're hunters. McCampbell's grin fades. Finally, a challenge. He doesn't turn away. He climbs into them. The altitude ticks past 24,000 feet. Air thins. Engines howl. The 4 enemy fighters spread, trying to box him in. He pulls vertical, half rolls over the top, and drops behind the rightmost plane. 1 burst gone. He slides through the gap, fires again, second one breaks apart. The others overshoot. He snaps the Hellcat into a brutal dive, pulling 9 Gs, wings trembling, smoke streaming from the wingtips. At 15,000 feet he levels, reverses, and climbs again straight into their blind spots. The 3rd Frank rolls desperately, but it's too slow. McCampbell's rounds rake across its fuselage. The 4th peels away, fleeing east. McCampbell doesn't chase. He checks the sky, sees his pilots above him, alive, fighting well. Within minutes, the last Japanese plane dives for cloud cover, leaving behind columns of smoke. 20 attackers reduced to 5 survivors. The convoy below remains untouched. When he lands, the deck crew meets him with nervous grins. "3 more, sir. You're setting records faster than we can paint them." McCampbell waves them off. "We're setting a standard, not a record." That night, the ready room fills with exhausted pilots, faces smeared with oil, eyes bright with relief. McCampbell sits on the table edge, helmet under one arm. "You all saw it today," he says. "They're running out of veterans. But don't get careless. Fearless doesn't mean foolish. If you've got altitude, you've got control. If you've got control, you've already won." The room goes quiet. A young ensign asks softly, "Sir, when it's 1 against 60, how do you keep from freezing up?" McCampbell looks down for a moment, then answers, "You don't think about 60. You think about the one in front of you. Kill him, climb, and kill the next. You keep doing that until there's no one left to shoot at you. That's it." Outside, the Pacific night hums with the steady thrum of the carrier's engines. Above it all, a crescent moon glows pale on the horizon, hanging over the same sky where, only days ago, he fought alone against impossible odds. By the end of October, 1944, David McCampbell's official tally stands at 34 victories, the top Navy ace of the war. But among the men of Air Group 15, his real legacy isn't the number painted under his cockpit. It's the rule he drilled into them all. Speed is life, altitude is power, aggression wins. And somewhere beyond the glow of the fleet, in the wreckage of the enemy's last hope, Japanese pilots whisper a new name in fear and respect, the ace of aces, who never turned away. By November, the Battle of Leyte Gulf is over. The largest naval engagement in human history ends with the Japanese fleet shattered, its carriers sunk, its pilots gone. The Imperial Navy will never recover, but David McCampbell is still flying. He's exhausted 34 confirmed kills, more than 100 combat sorties, 2 years of non-stop operations from the deck of USS Essex. Yet every morning, before dawn, he walks the flight deck with a mug of black coffee, scanning the sky as if waiting for the next challenge. To his pilots, he's more than a commander now. He's a symbol, a living lesson in control under chaos. They call him Skipper with reverence. They whisper about the morning he took off alone against 60 Japanese aircraft, about how he stayed up there for over 90 minutes, cutting through the formation until his guns ran dry. But McCampbell doesn't tell that story anymore. He tells a different one, the one about what happens after the dogfight. He gathers his men in the ready room, chalk in hand, sleeves rolled. The blackboard is a blur of arcs, loops, and circles. "This isn't about luck," he says. "It's about geometry. Angles, altitude, patience. They had agility. We had energy. You win when you control the terms of the fight, not when you outturn your opponent." He sketches a simple diagram, a Hellcat climbing into the sun, a Zero trying to follow. "The Hellcat can't turn tighter," he says, "but she can climb higher. Make them follow, make them stall, make them fall." He pauses. "And when you dive again, you don't shoot at a plane, you shoot at a mistake. Wait for it, see it, strike fast, and climb away before his wingman finds you." Every pilot in the room scribbles furiously. This isn't a lecture. It's survival being passed from the one man who proved that even alone, victory was possible. Outside, the Pacific Air War is already changing. Japan's surviving pilots are young, barely trained, and desperate. Their aircraft are fast but fragile. And now, they're starting to dive their planes deliberately into ships' kamikaze attacks. McCampbell watches the first reports from Leyte with a grim face. He knows what's coming. The next fight won't be about duels in the sky. It'll be about stopping suicide dives before they reach the carriers. His tactics, steep climbs, high side slashes, lightning dives, become the fleet's best answer. His men practice intercepting low, fast targets before they can reach the task force. They don't always succeed, but when they do, it's with precision, born from his lessons. On November 14th, 1944, the Japanese send another wave south from Luzon. 20 Zeeks and Franks, escorting kamikazes toward the American fleet. McCampbell is already on patrol with his squadron when the call comes in. "Contact, Angels 5, heading 220. He looks down, spots them black dots moving low over the sea, sunlight glinting off canopies. He leads his division down in a shallow dive, throttles open. This fight is different. The enemy doesn't evade. They don't turn. They dive straight at the fleet, like arrows. The only way to stop them is to hit them before they cross the invisible line between altitude and death. McCampbell takes the lead. His tracers reach out like red-hot strings, cutting through one Zeke, then another. The rest of his men follow, breaking the formation apart. Several kamikazes plunge into the sea short of the carriers. 2 crash into the waves in flames. None reach the ships. When it's over, he circles once above the wreckage, then radios back, calm as always. "Area clear. Returning home."